Woo, hot baby in a car. Today we're golfing under par. This is the Fight Guy. I'm your host, Guy Pert. Today I'm going to be breaking down UFC Vegas 104 in under 15 minutes. All right, I'm going to give you all the predictions, who's going to win every one of these fights in 15 minutes or less. Let's get right into it, starting with the very first fight on the early prelims. Duben versus Carly Judice. Not a whole lot to say on this one. I will say Duben, she's 6-0. The record looks better than what it is because she's only fought one person with a winning record. And you've guessed it, it was the Contender Series fight. Normally, I'm not a fan of these types of fighters with the padded records, and I typically will go for the veterans. But Carly Judice isn't a veteran. She doesn't even have as many pro fights as Duben. And Duben knocks chicks out, whether or not they have a winning record or not. Really hard to do in the women's MMA, let alone the flyweight division. So I'm going to go with Duben to get the finish. I think Duben's going to get the finish on this fight. So we're going to go ahead and put our vote in consensus. Oh, a lot of people are going with Judice. That's fine. We move on to the next fight. Josanne Nunes versus Priscilla Cachoeira. A lot of people are going with Priscilla for this one. Josanne, it's the same case as the previous fighter. She tends to knock women out, which I wish I could do. All jokes aside, 7 knockouts, 3 of her wins have been via decision, and 3 of her losses have been via decision. So I'm going to go with Josanne to get the knockout on this one. I don't think Priscilla is anything special. So we're just going to put our vote in for Nunes by finish. Moving on to the next fight, we have this one's going to be an amazing fight. This could be fight of the night, honestly. These guys are angry hornets. Daniel Barez, he is a dog. I have heard a lot of good things. A lot of people are picking this guy to win. He's a plus 325 underdog. I've been back and forth, honestly. I think if this goes to decision, Daniel Barez may walk away with it. But Andre Lima, I know he's on a hot streak right now, 10-0. Let's see, 5 finishes, 5 decision wins. 3 of those decisions coming in the last 5. He hasn't had a knockout in the UFC. He hasn't finished a fight in the UFC. They've all been decisions. All 4 of them, if you want to count the Dana White Contender Series win. So without a doubt, this is going to be Andre Lima's toughest test to date. And it has been year of the fraud checks. We've had more fighters lose their O this year than I think at a rate better than any other year. So it is tough for these undefeated guys. But, this isn't Andre Lima's first fight in the UFC. It's not his second fight in the UFC. This would be his 5th, including his Dana White Contender Series showing. So I'm going to put my faith in the undefeated contender on this one. I'm going to go with Andre Lima, but I could really see this going either way. I think the betting odds should honestly be closer, so there might be some value in the underdog there. I'm going to go with Andre Lima to win. We're gonna give it Lima by finish. Lima by finish. Wow, a lot of people have Barez. Moving on to the next fight, Stephanie Luciano versus Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes has been fraud checking chicks. Let's just take another look at her record. No, she hasn't really been fraud checking chicks. The last 5 fights, 4 of them went to decision. She's lost 2 of them. She did have a nice knockout win, I believe. That was her debut in 22. No, she's been in a little bit longer. That was her first win. Okay, I don't know with this one. I haven't really done my homework on Stephanie Luciano, but I'm gonna go with her to win this. I'm gonna go with the favorite, Stephanie, to win by decision. All right, moving on to the next fight. Carlos Vera versus Josias Musasa. Carlos Vera is the most one-dimensional fighter, I think, in the bantamweight division. He's got really dirty jiu-jitsu, but he takes way too much damage playing with the leg locks and trying to set stuff up. Honestly, I think Josias' takedown defense is decent enough to hold Carlos Vera off of him. I think we even see him get the knockout early on in the fight before round 2, so we're going to go with Josias Musasa by finish. A lot of people going with Vera by decision. I don't see Vera winning that decision. He can't stand up for 3 rounds with Musasa. There's no way. I don't think Musasa is going to be anything special, but Carlos Vera certainly isn't close to anything special. We move on to the next fight. Might have to go with another underdog pick here. Su Young Yu versus AJ Cunningham. AJ trains with Bryce Mitchell. He's always on his social media. So he's got some dirty grappling. I believe he's got, 4 submissions, 4 knockouts. I think AJ's a tough kid, and I think he's only getting better. I only think there's going to be one Korean. No, I'm not even going to say the other Korean's going to win, honestly. We'll get there when we get there. But I'm going to go with AJ Cunningham to win this fight. Honestly, I think he'll get the finish. I think Cunningham would get a submission win. A lot of people going with you, and that's fine. Featured fight on the preliminary card, Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Ryan Spann. This is Spann's heavyweight debut, I believe. He was a light heavyweight. He's moving up for this fight. I can't say that I agree with that. Waldo Cortes-Acosta, you may remember him as the guy that fraud-checked Robelis Despionage, the guy that's knocking everybody out in karate combat right now, but he has absolutely negative zero grappling skills. Waldo Cortes-Acosta, he's not afraid to stand up in your face and strike with you, but he's also an excellent wrestler. He's got really beautiful takedowns, and he's really good at maintaining control. And with Ryan Spann making his debut in heavyweight, I think he's going to get taken down, possibly submitted, but probably TKO'd on the ground. I'm going to go with Waldo Cortes-Acosta. This is my lock of the card. If you want to bet on somebody on this card, Cortez, probably by finish, is the best bet you could do, in my opinion. He's going to absolutely ragdoll Ryan Spann. So we're going to go with Cortes-Acosta by finish. Wow, split votes on this one. Moving on to the first fight on the main card. Songwoo Choi versus Kevin Vallejos. This is going to be a great fight. I really like Choi. I've watched all of his UFC fights at least twice. I mean, I think this guy's a great fighter. I think he's a lot better than what his record shows. He's also had some tough fights. Let me just pull up his history here. Yeah, he's lost 4 in his last 5. The only win coming from decision. Alex Caceres, Garcia, Holobaugh. Yeah, he's had some tough fights in the featherweight division, and this one's not going to be any easier for him. Kevin Vallejos, I think, is going to probably knock him out. Choi does have a chin. He tends to get rocked, but he'll get right back up. He kind of reminds me of the Korean Zombie. I'd even say he's the best Korean featherweight since the Korean Zombie. And I mean, I know there's not a lot of Korean featherweights, but I'd say Korean fighter since the Korean Zombie. I really like Choi. I'm going to be hooked on this fight either way, whichever way it goes, but I'm going to have to put my pick in Kevin Vallejos to get the finish. So let's Kevin Vallejos by finish. Wow, split votes today. Moving on to the second fight on the main card. I should have called out the missed weight earlier by the guy from the Congo. What's his name? Josias Musasa missed weight by, I believe, half a pound. Very dishonorable thing to do. Dayar Nurgozhay, hey, whatever the hell. These last names, man. He missed weight by 5 pounds. 5 pound. He missed weight by 5 pounds, so he's got to win this fight. I think he's got even more of a reason to win this fight. He didn't look that exhausted on the scales, which was interesting. But yeah, I mean, this guy's a stud. This is going to be his first fight in the UFC. I've even looked into his fights before the UFC, and he's fought some serious talent. So it's not one of those cases where the dude's undefeated and he's only fought 2 people with a winning record. This guy's fought some people. Brenson Ribeiro, I don't know if he's well-rounded enough to take care of Dayar's takedowns. And I mean, if Dayar takes him down, that's probably going to be a wrap. And I think he's even got the potential to outstrike Brenson on the feet. Let's take a look at the reach real quick, just to be sure. Okay, Brenson Ribeiro, he's got a 7-inch reach. That'll help a lot. But I'm gonna go with Dayar, the guy who missed weight, to not miss the opportunity and get his first official win contracted in the UFC after Dana White Contender Series. I'm going to go with Dayar to get the finish. There we go. Damon Blackshear versus Cody Gibson. I like Cody Gibson, man. I like an underdog story. You know, he fought his way back in the UFC through The Ultimate Fighter. He looked really good that season, too. He's got a chin on him, too. But Blackshear, ever since he got that the third twister submission in the UFC history, I mean, I've been hooked on this guy. He's been in for a little while. He's 15-7. I think he's better than his record shows. He's fought some tough people. I think that he submits Cody Gibson personally. I think he has all the answers on his feet if they want to strike, but I personally see him taking Cody Gibson down. Maybe not the first takedown attempt, maybe not the second takedown attempt, but the third takedown attempt. He's going to take Cody Gibson down. He's going to wear on him, and I think he's even going to find the submission. So we're going to go with Blackshear by finish. Boom, 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 boom. All right, next fight, Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holobaugh. Kurt, my boy, he's from Louisiana, fellow Louisianian, fellow Kunas. Alexander Hernandez, he's got decent wrestling. He's really decent everywhere. He looks like he's in really good shape, too. He's 6 years younger than Kurt, so fighters with a 7+ year age youth advantage win about 70% of the time. So, he's got the youth in his favor. I think Kurt is a submission expert. He's got great jiu-jitsu, got great guillotine, he's got great awareness on the ground. Not to take anything away from Hernandez, he does too, but I think that Kurt is going to make this a war, right? This is going to be a brawl. It's going to go into the third round, and I think that Kurt, this is where he's able to really, his submission skills are able to shine. Whenever it's a brawl, there's scrambles going on, he's going to find it and catch you in something. I'm going to go with Kurt to win this fight, not necessarily by finish. I think he might do enough to win the decision, but the finishing potential is there, and if he does get the finish, I think it's going to be via submission. So we're just going to go ahead and vote Kurt by finish. Wow, that's a very split vote. Shout out to the consensus score. If you guys are on X, definitely give them a follow. Man, when I followed them, they had less than 1,000 followers. They're really blowing up. They do these polls every week, and they do live polls round by round during the fights. It's an amazing account. Let's get back to the predictions here. I think there's just 2 other fights on the card. It's going to be the co-main event and the main event. Starting with the co-main, Njokuani, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang versus Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Man, this fight is going to be fireworks. Let me just start this off by saying Chitty did miss weight. I think he missed weight by 2 pounds. I'm not sure what it is. This is why I like to do my videos on Fridays, so I catch the weigh-ins. Chitty missed weight. Tough weight cut for him. He does have a 2-year youth advantage, but more importantly, a 7-inch reach advantage. Dos Santos, I've never seen a boring fight out of this guy. This guy makes wars. Each and every time he's in the octagon, I love watching this guy fight. Chitty, with a 7-inch reach advantage, he may piece up Dos Santos through the rounds, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep that distance away from Dos Santos. I think Dos Santos is going to close in, and he's going to make it a dirty fight, make it a brawl, against the cage, clinching, takedown attempts. I think Dos Santos, like I said, I've never seen him in a boring fight. It's always exciting. This guy brings the action. Honestly, his name raises the stock value of this card alone. I think this could potentially be fight of the night. I'm very split. I went back and forth. I'm going to go with Dos Santos to win this fight via decision, although finishing potential is always there. Like I said, he's kind of like Kurt, where he'll create wars, more the definition of wars, and I think that he's going to find a finish in one of those brawls. But if he doesn't, he may have enough to win a split decision. It's going to be a really gritty, close fight. I'm going to go with Dos Santos to get the decision win. Moving on to the main event. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze 2. Marvin Vettori, let's just take a quick look at his record. All right, these guys have fought once before. He did beat Dolidze in a unanimous decision. Vettori hasn't fought in almost 2 years, man. I'm not a fan of people taking more than a year off. Anytime they take more than a year off, 99 times out of 100, I'm probably going to go with the other guy. Plus, I think Roman's looked better lately. Since the fight with Vettori, he's had 3 other fights: Imavov, Anthony Smith, and Kevin Holland. He's knocked out Kevin Holland. He beat Anthony Smith, Anthony Smith gets a lot of hate, but that guy is somebody I feel like we've never seen his full potential. He's very talented. All right, I'm an Anthony Smith guy. All right, I don't know how people can't be. You never know what you're going to get when Anthony Smith steps in there. Not to get too far off the point, since losing to Vettori, he's only lost one other fight, and that's honestly to the top contender in the division. I'm going to go with Roman to get the win here. I think he's been more active. He gets better after each fight, win or lose, and Vettori he's just kind of been sitting on the couch since. I don't think that should be rewarded. Roman's going to get the finish here. We'll go Roman via finish. Not a lot of people think the same. But, yeah, those are my picks for UFC Vegas 104. It's my birthday tomorrow, so let's see how special this card can be. I'll be spending my birthday watching it. Very excited to watch UFC fights every Saturday. It's one of my favorite things to do. So thank you so much for watching. Check back with me on Sunday's video where I break all of this down. Those videos I enjoy a little bit more, especially when it's a card not too exciting like this one. This card, it's quantity over quality, but sometimes it be that way. The UFC has had fights every single weekend this year, except for like 2 weekends, maybe only 1 weekend. So thank you for watching The Fight Guy. I will see you on Sunday.